And we are ready to begin, and we're so pleased you're here. You could become rich today. Yes, that's where the energies have moved you. And you become rich when you start to embody who you are, when you become your authentic self. So we thought that maybe we would begin with our messenger because we wanted you all to understand there's nothing that's happening accidentally in your life or in your world. And last night we had him put up a message for you all that you can see today that we said there is alignment in your life and in the world. Now, you just figured this out at different times. There are certain beings who will come to your world and figure out how you evolve as humans, and our messenger was one, except he resisted. But we awakened him this morning and we said, Copernicus. And he goes, why are you saying that? And we wanted him to look. You carry consciousness throughout humankind. And when we first gave him a message that said, we have given you everything to create the life you want to have in the world you want to see, it was on February 19th. And so then we told him to put all the messages together from February 19th, and we told him to do that a year ago. And then there's a continuity there that you will see. And there's a progression. And that progression is you become more aware, you become more conscious. You use linear time to do that. You do that individually, and you do that as a civilization. But as we said, you're moving through a restructuring, which is why we gave you a new philosophy. And it's called Your Life Operating Instructions. Because your world was going in a different direction than what would be conducive for it evolving. You've left too many people out and didn't embrace yourselves. And this is what we have given you. So we said we've given you an ascension guide, and we've done it in order. And it's something that no one has seen. Now, the reason that we said Copernicus, because no one believed him either. And now that is how you see your world. It's always those who come in the visionaries, as we've said, and our messenger is one of those, that they suffer so much. But we told him last night, you have to stop today because we want all of you to embrace who you are, and we've given you everything to do that. But what you've done is not honor who you are. And he was doing that by not appreciating what we had given and what he has lived. And that's what you all have done. You've lived things that have given you value. And if you look at our message for last year on this date, we said you deserve even more now. And we're saying that because if you live, you've gone through experiences, you have knowledge that's ingrained, and it's worth something. Our messenger has spent 36 years putting all of ours down, and he's fought it because he thought you're not going to believe that. But what it did is it healed his life, and that's why we wanted him to document it. And so when we told him Copernicus, he went into your artificial intelligence again, and yes, there was an alignment there. And the messages that we gave you said you progress in your consciousness over time. Well, what has happened, you've let go a little bit of that. You're looking at your world now and wondering what's happened. You've made certain things more important than you. And the biggest one was money. Now, when we first told on the message that you'll see on that February 19th, when we told our messenger in 1989 that he had this work that could be so great, he was afraid of it. You each do that. He said, oh no, I couldn't open up this much power. What could happen? My ego might get in the way. And it's exactly the opposite. Now what you're looking at in your world are those in power who their egos are running everything. And this is the balance that we wanted you to shift. This is what we said, you're having a restructuring. And it's been focused a lot in the United States. That was for a reason as well, because they're energetic shifts. None of you might have understood that. We've given our messenger that information. We've showed him that we've given him an energetic alignment throughout the time he's received us. He didn't know anything about astrology or astronomy, but they were all aligned because you're affected by the changes in your planets, the moon, the conjunctions that happen, and you're in one right now. And so we decided to get out ahead of this because you're going to have your May Day tomorrow, and there's going to be energy coming up that we want you to understand why you're protesting. You're protesting because you've lost sight of your consciousness. There's a consciousness in general that has not allowed you to own who you are. And we gave you a new one that would allow more people to transcend those limitations. And we've done it in order because you don't do it all at once. You evolve in linear time. We don't. That's why we could give you all the information, but we know those concepts are difficult for many of you. However, we must change because we told our messenger, you must get this to more people. And so he doesn't know how these things are happening, but now on Monday, he's going to be speaking in front of thousands. They will hear him. And then in May, there'll be more. And he's hidden from himself, like you all have. And we had him say that the other day because it didn't make sense. How could he have done this? How could he have healed? How could have that happened? And this is what we said. You all have cognitive dissonance. He did as well. He's looking at himself and seeing what's happening. He's 74, and how did that occur? And then we'll say the same thing to you, and then you won't believe it. And many of you don't believe it. This is why you have wars. You keep carrying on grievances because you can't let go of old ideas, you see? And this is why we said, if you were to love yourselves, it'd be a whole different ballgame. And that is where your wealth will come from. But right now, you're looking at changes that have happened where you're feeling disempowered. And we gave you a message on entitlement that you will see in the thread that we gave you on the 30th, because we knew that you would be moving through that. We gave you that in 2012. That was another movement, a change in your civilization. You have energetic changes that are aligned with the emotions and ideas that you all carry. And most of them are limited. That's what we said. But when we started giving you this work, we said the more you know, the less you understand. Because you've cut off yourselves from the information that could come, because it's a little strange hearing this being accepting all of this information. But we've said that you will have humans who will be born that develop different abilities. He didn't know he had a super consciousness. He didn't even know that he had done this until he had the artificial intelligence to look at it. So we're saying none of you know what you can accomplish until you start to do it. But you become afraid. But we gave you a pathway, because the only reason you don't get there is that you stop. We gave you a way to keep going. And that's why we put all the messages on the site today that says there's alignment in your life and world, so that you could see how it evolved over time. You each do that. Now, but what you have is a collective consciousness, meaning you have all beings who come in who have these memories that may not want to evolve. And so then you have conflict. And so you're going to have to decide who you want to be. And the message that we said conflict and unity always exist in human experience. And so when you start answering that question about who am I going to be, you release that conflict that has existed within you. And that's what we're doing today with our messenger, because he never wanted to do this. He's hidden from this because he didn't want to be judged. Except we told him that's the thing that could change your world, because you would all love yourself. What would be wrong with that? Belief. But now we'll prove it to you, because what we had him do is see the connections. We love that you have technology now. And as we had him say in the very beginning, his life was meant to marry science, spirituality, and human potential. And he's done all of them. The healing has shown the potential that you all can achieve. But the next thing he hasn't done is honored who he is by acknowledging what this was. That's why we said you've got to stop. Can't charge this amount of money, because you have made your world and your value based on the money. Now, we gave you something anyone could afford, but see, you don't believe that because you've been used to struggling. That's that thing of you don't feel entitled. So he said, well, that's okay. He's going to take it to others, or he'll work with someone who can take it to a much larger audience, because he is determined to see your world better, because that's who he's always been. You each have something within you that is so valuable, and if you were to own it, you'd have the wealth, you'd have everything that you want. You would heal, you would cause your world to become better. There's no accidents there. And we went through and shown you. And he suffered his entire life to show you. But again, as we said earlier, you didn't believe Jesus, Buddha, or Tesla, all those folks. Yeah, that's what happened, because it's consciousness again. But we thought we'd make it easier, because we had him put down the messages there. We've done it for the past couple of days, because you're moving through energetic portals that are going to be dynamic. And that's why you're seeing the disruption in your world. And we said that we have given you the solution to your life. We can't make you believe it, but we're going to take it much further. But we told him he has to be a different example. See, what happens is you don't own who you are. You don't love yourselves enough to have the wealth, and then you allow others to take over. When we first began in 2021, when we first convinced him to do a session, we had him use one message from 2017, and it was power, money, love, and control, because we said that's what you're going to move through in your world now. He resisted doing it because he didn't understand what that meant. But now you're seeing it. You can even see it today, especially in the United States, because you've not honored who you are as the individual, and you've perpetuated a feeling of insecurity and insignificance onto others. And that's why your world looks the way that it does. We told him he came to be loved, but he said, I can't do that. And we said, yes, you have to, because guess what? That's the most powerful force that any of you have. It's the most powerful energy. And you're looking at a world where you're seeing more cruelty come up, where you could put light in if you were to love yourselves. And that's what we have given you. So we wanted to do this today because, again, we told him he has to stop this because he gives himself away so much, and many of you have done that. And that's why you end up in situations and your world looking the way that it does, because not enough individuals know who they are. When we began and we said, he questioned, why are we doing these channelings? We said, it's because you're going to see billions of people who have not known who they are. And we have the information that can help them. And that would make your world better. And maybe you wouldn't burn down your planet. If more people could be empowered, could be self-actualized. And that's what we've given you. And we've said, it's just like all the other visionaries, but it was hard for him to accept that it was him. Just like it is hard for you to accept the big thing that you're supposed to do. Each of you has that within you. And so now we hope today, with everything that we're giving you, that we've convinced you that you are here to make a great, great difference in your world. And please change the energies that you will see in the next couple of days. And we've played it all out. So, but again, look at the message for last year on this date, and we said you deserve even more now. That's just for your existence. You are that valuable. And that's what we wanted you to know. So now you can look at all of our work and decide if you're going to move to that next place and own yourself, as we must have our messenger do as well. But we want you to know this. We love you all so much. That's what this work is about.